Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Of course, hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. And of course, check out the Discord channel. It is linked in the description. You can chat with other traders there, chat with myself, share ideas. I share some of my ideas there as well. So if you are interested, go check it out. If you're looking to join a community, it is free and available, linked in the description and also at the top of the chat as well. But guys, what is up? Welcome, Raphael. Yes, we'll take a look at oil longs for you, no problem. Alan, good morning. Hope you're well. Buy limit on gold. Okay, we'll take a look. Targeting 3,700. Okay, pretty big move. But going to trail stop loss. Okay, yeah. That's kind of my take as well. I do think gold can push to highs, but of course, I wouldn't want to put a target on it because I think gold can skyrocket past the highs and go a lot further. I think a trading stop loss technique would be the best way to kind of manage that opportunity because you don't know with gold. Maybe we do push to 4K. Of course, it's a bit extreme, but you get the picture. We have been very, very volatile. But I'll go through the USD side of things first. We'll take a look at the DXY. USD majors, then we'll get to gold and silver. Of course, any requests, let me know, drop it in the chat, we'll take a look. Any pairs, markets you're looking to trade. Of course, if you just want my opinion, let me know as well. What's up, William? Good morning, hope you're well. So we'll start with the dollar as always. So DXY, for the most part, is pretty bearish. Let me get to the 4-hour chart. For the most part, is pretty bearish. We did see a bit of downside yesterday, but didn't really amount to much. And as I've been mentioning with the USD, as a whole, I'm still pretty bearish on the pair because of the lower lows and lower highs, but I'm just getting ready to buy it. That's kind of the move I'm after. I'm not so keen on continuing to sell the dollar. Number one, we've been bearish for quite a while. Number two, the market's a bit stretched. And number three, we've just taken out some major lows as well. So this is just not the place for me to be looking to sell the market, even if I wanted to. So I'm now getting ready for some buying opportunities. Of course, at the moment, there's no indication of real buyers stepping into the market. Yes, we're seeing some rejection, some wicks, but nothing crucial that tells me, okay, we're about to have a reversal or a big kind of counter trend. Nothing of that nature. The market is still pointing down. So until I see price kind of break through a swing point like this, then that will tell me, okay, buyers are stepping back into the market. And I would be expecting a higher low and a higher high. And that higher low is something which I want to be looking to trade. So that's really what I'm waiting for the dollar. At the moment, market's still bearish. We respected this area actually last Friday. And from there, we could still see another drop to the downside. In fact, if you're looking to short the market, I think on the lower time frame, shorts still look pretty good. If you can look for some type of double top there around 98.544, if you could see some rejection, I think that's a smart place for a short. And again, at least targeting the lows there. Personally, I'm waiting for the reversal to see if that happens. Maybe we don't get it, maybe we do. If you do have a short bias, especially if you're intraday, this would be the best place for a sell. That would be the best place, especially if you're kind of looking for a trade for the week. I think that would be a nice area to position yourself. Same thing with Euro USD. Again, with this one, kind of get ready for some sells. The market is at the moment still pretty bullish. We're still seeing higher highs and higher lows, but pretty much an identical situation to what we got going with the DXY. We're taking out some major highs there. So again, not really interested in continuing to buy the dollar. I'm personally looking for that kind of counter trend move, perhaps reversal. We'll have to see if we get it or not. This is the first move I'm looking to see price can give us. And then, yeah, some pullbacks afterwards is what will interest me. But that could take a few days to develop, maybe even into next week. So not too concerned about that. At least we need to see the move down first. But again, if you're focusing on a bit more intraday, I think the buys still look good for now. We still do have a very consistent uptrend with higher highs and higher lows. So I would suggest if you're still looking to get involved with Euro, especially if you're like hourly time frame and below, I would be looking to see if I can get another drive back into these lows and perhaps try and catch a buy off that retest. If I can drop to the hourly chart. forming kind of like a big kind of descending channel sort of situation, spike through the low, and then perhaps we can take some buys off the back of that and target back at the high. So yeah, euro still very bullish for now, still seeing higher highs and higher lows. Myself, I'm kind of looking for the reversal, so I'm just going to be waiting patiently to see if that does happen. Again, if you're looking for those intraday trades, I think the buys still look pretty good down at the lows there. But again, I'll keep it short and sweet. Back to highs. We've been very corrective on the way up, so I'm not expecting a massive move for euro. Hence another reason why I'm looking to sell it at some point. But we might see some intraday trades to the upside. Pound USD, kind of the same situation, except I'm not really seeing good buy opportunities. Euro, as I just mentioned, it looks like a decent buy at that level. Pound USD still has to break through this level if we're going to get a decent buy opportunity. Price has been respecting resistance so well here. Initially over there, secondly over there, third, fourth, fifth. So the price has been really trying to break through this level, but it's been failing quite miserably. So if price can somehow see a strong break of that level and we see some momentum above that, then of course the buys look a lot better at that stage, and there's a good possibility for a continuation. So if that was to happen, yes, I think again intraday buys look good, similar to euro, just a break and retest, following that momentum. The market, of course, is bullish as a whole, just trying to take a little piece of the pie as we keep pushing up. But since we have taken out major highs and the market is quite stretched, my bias, my kind of swing bias, is the same with euro. I'm kind of looking to see if I can short the pound, if I can see price go and break structure and find some lower lows and lower highs to take advantage of. Something like that would interest me. A push back down, maybe a retest of this area and a short back into the lows. That's something from a swing perspective I'll be interested in, because as the market continues, as we take out major highs, I'm not expecting to see a continuous big uptrend. I would expect the bigger move would be in the opposite direction. Even if it is just a pullback for us to continue higher, still I would expect that to be the bigger move, and then possibly might continue off the back of that. And then I'll be looking to buy the market, because at least we now have a healthy retracement. So pound USD, just kind of keeping an eye on this range. Price has been sideways within it. That was the plan coming into the week, just seeing how price is going to break out of this. Do we break to the downside? Well, if that's the case, short bias looks good. If you do break to the upside, well, long bias looks good, and we could be looking for a retest and a continuation off the back of that. So eyes on those two levels for pound. For dollar CAD, again, another one which is just in an area which I'm waiting to buy. Massive area of kind of demand here, where price did have a brief pause, then we ripped to the upside with a lot of momentum. Now we're coming back into that zone again. So naturally I'm expecting buyers to be stepping into the market, sellers to be taking profit, and we could be seeing price have a bit of a, again, not necessarily reversal, but maybe another pullback before we do continue lower. And if I can take advantage of that pullback, that'll be great, because hopefully I can take some counter trend buys, but also once the pullback's over, maybe I can find some shorts to get back in and sell USD CAD, because we have been bearish for quite a while, and I at least expect something like this to happen over the next coming days. So keeping a close eye on dollar CAD. You can see how corrective we are getting, so implies momentum is dropping. Sellers are starting to struggle, and maybe buyers are entering the market as sellers are taking their profit. So again, looking for a bit of a double bottom or a higher low to form, something that indicates a reversal, and that will invite me into a setup. And targets, again, keeping it pretty simple, nothing too major. 1.37, 1.375, 1.385 are kind of areas I'll be looking to try and take some profit and secure the position. But yeah, as we come into the zone, I'm interested in buying USD CAD. Aussie dollar, again, another very fatigued pair on the way up. Another USD pair just kind of slowly pushing in this up format. So you can kind of see a lot of the USD pairs now are looking very tired. Euro, pound, Aussie, New Zealand dollar, all of these are still bullish because of their market structure, higher highs and higher lows. But you can see how they're moving. It does look like they're running out of steam, and perhaps a pullback or a reversal is on the cards. Same thing with Aussie dollar. I'm looking to see if we can spike back into the high end of the channel. And from there, look for some shorting opportunities back into the low and maybe further as well. Right now, price is kind of just hovering through the middle of the channel, which is represented with that dotted line there. So this is not really the prime place to be getting into a short or a long. I think there'll be a lot of liquidity resting above the highs and above the lows, and yeah, asking for trouble, having stop losses there, I would expect. And we could see some nice selling opportunities after we run the highs into the upper end before pushing down, and that's kind of the opportunity I'm looking for. So Aussie dollar, keep an eye on some shorts. I do expect us to at least push to the low end of the channel. We might respect it again and start pushing up, but at least a swing like that I think is a realistic expectation. And then we'll see if we get the breakout for a bigger pullback. But Aussie dollar is still very tired, still keeping a close eye at the top end of the channel. NZD kind of the same pattern as Aussie dollar in terms of how corrective we are, but I'm not as enthusiastic to short this one as I am with Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar has a pretty big level running through the market here, which is not such an issue because that could be a very nice take profit or a very nice area for even a buy setup to take it back up again. You can see the way we're moving the channel. If we do see another push to the up end of the channel, very much could see a push back to the lower end again, which does line up very well with that level. That could provide a nice buy set to take it back up again. As I mentioned, not very interested in buying New Zealand dollar. It's a very tired market, so more fixated with the sales. I think a nice opportunity for New Zealand dollar would be a break of the channel, then some shorts afterwards. That would be a nice opportunity. But yeah, another market which is still very tired. I do expect to see a push down pretty soon. As for gold, again, looking for some buying opportunities for gold. I said I was keeping a close eye on the retest of this level, and I am. Price is looking pretty bearish. Looks like we're trying to creep below. So if momentum can shift and maybe take up the highs here, that would be a nice entry signal for myself. Especially if you do that in one or two candles, that'll show your momentum's completely shifted. Kind of breaking out of this weird channel price is forming. And if you can see a strong close like this, that would indicate to me, okay, buyers are stepping in, and we could see a run back into the highs. So that's really what I'd be looking for gold. But in terms of where we're trading, I like it. I also did say, watch out, we might have a bigger pullback into this area. Since we are forming higher lows here, I do wonder, can we form another one in a similar area before continuing? The breaking retest does look good, but maybe price does want to have a deeper retracement. And if that is the case, then maybe we do have a push into these lows, another higher low forms, and then we run to highs. But yeah, expectations, still a push back into the swing high there, 3,500. Again, we could go a lot further than that. But I think that's kind of your obvious kind of point of call for gold. Targets above that, it's kind of, who knows sort of situation. You expect kind of gold to rally, but how far? Maybe 3,600, maybe 37, maybe 38. Maybe we might double top at 35. You're not too sure, but that's the kind of beauty of the trend situation we have now. Market is very bullish. If you just whack on a trading stop loss, it allows you to possibly capitalize on a big upside, at the same time secure profits as well. So in a market condition like this, I think trading stops are the best option. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for gold. Just still looking at that bullish swing back to 3,500. And silver, again, silver straightforward, but hasn't really changed much since we last spoke yesterday. Still very much just consolidating within this range here. So not a lot to report on. I did say my area of interest for silver is still very much the high back over here at 35. If I could see a retest of that, that would be a great place for a long. Market to me is still very, very flat. So just lacking momentum, lacking anything really. So we might kind of consolidate here for a few days and then break to the upside. I said if we don't get the retest of this daily level, what we might get is a kind of a consolidation for a few days, then the break of that, and then the next best opportunity would then be the retest of it. And that might be the opportunity which we get involved with. But as a whole, silver's looking very bullish to me. Strong breakout. The key thing is that we had this breakout and we didn't break back inside the range. We kind of were holding that territory. So that kind of shows to me that this breakout is the real deal. and we're likely going to expect continuation. My next big target for silver would be 40, which is all the way up there. Big psychological level for silver. So yeah, just have to see which kind of opportunity we get. Do we get the pullback into the level? That would be the preferred opportunity. If not, wait for this kind of consolidation to build up. Hopefully a strong breakout like we had not too long ago. Look for some retests, and then hopefully we'll be on our way. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD. Overall, market is still bearish. You got Aussie dollar still heading up, New Zealand dollar still heading up, pound still heading up, euro still heading up, dollar CAD still looking bearish, dollar CHF still looking bearish. So USD is clearly weak, but I do think we're coming to a stage where possibly that weakness could turn around soon, or at least have a bit of a breather, and there might be some nice counter trend opportunities to trade, and that's kind of where I'm looking for. I don't want to be trying to get into something that's last minute. The trend for USD has been heading down for a while now. My opportunity is not necessarily jumping on the back of that and continuing to sell it. My opportunity is kind of going against that when I see that first indication to take the opposite move. Whether it turns to be a reversal or just a pullback, we're yet to know. But that's kind of where my focus will be. I'll take a look at oil for Raphael. Did mention that a while ago, but we'll go through oil as well. I'll take a look at that buy limit as well, Alan. Forgot to look at that when I was on gold. William, CAD, yen, and gold. Okay, we'll take a look as well. Let me head over to oil. So oil, longs upper targets. Are you asking where would you have your target for oil? It depends where you've entered. Or are you just asking my general upper targets for oil? I mean, I probably would say the high here, because that's the last major swing high. Because oil is comfortably trading above support at 65, 66. And that was the kind of our last major swing high we've had. So now that this has kind of proven to be a bit of fake out for oil, this break of support, I would expect us to make a move back into the same high. So my targets for oil from a bullish standpoint would be 80.5. Let me just use a zone to show that better. So yeah, if I was looking to try and get involved with some swing opportunities for oil, targets would be around, I would say 80, just say 80, big psychological level as well. But yeah, I would be looking around 80 if that's what you're referring to. But if you're asking where you should have targets for a trade, again, that depends where your trade is, where you position yourself in the market, what your stop loss is saying, what time frame you're trading on. So there's a lot of kind of variables that we need to take into consideration for a target for a trade. But my kind of long-term expectation would be a kind of a drive into 80 for oil. Okay, let me go take a look at that limit on gold. So you got a buy limit. I don't really use limits when I trade. I'm always market execution because I like using candlestick patterns to enter a position. When I see momentum shift in my direction, that's kind of my signal to jump into the trade. I never really kind of put a limit, just expecting price to, to turn at an area. I mean, again, not to say you shouldn't do it. It's just it's not what I have a lot of experience in. But yeah, in terms of gold, you've got a buy limit at 33.50. Where's your stop loss for the position? Alan, hitting the high, but going to trail stop loss. Yeah. So yeah, I like the kind of the management approach in terms of just letting price do its thing and trail stops. I think that's the best kind of way to manage gold right now. I'm interested where your stops are for this. Is it below the low here? So like 32.90, or is it below a low there or something? Because that of course will kind of factor into the trade as well. But yeah, the two zones I'm focused on are like 3400 and 3330. Those are the two zones I'm kind of fixated on. As long as price can respect both of these two levels, I think these are great places for some longs. If we don't respect that area, I'll expect us to push into the lower end where we've got the trend line there as well. So, I mean, pretty much on the same page in terms of direction, expectations of gold long term, still looking at a drive back to the high. But yeah, I would be more focused on those two levels there. But yeah, it's still looking for a drive higher as long as we don't take out this low here. As long as that stays intact, it keeps me bullish and it keeps me looking for a push back into the swing high. Okay, so I'll go through CAD Yen next. Dan, Pound Yen, we'll take a look as well. But yeah, for gold, just very, very bullish on that one. In terms of CAD Yen, again, the yen pairs have looked pretty bullish since we last spoke. CAD Yen breaking to the upside. Things are looking very interesting now. I did say in terms of opportunities for CAD Yen, I just want to see price break resistance or break support, really. I'm not so interested in price trading within the range here. I'm not really interested in trying to find opportunities within that. But if price can break to the upside or break to the downside and see some momentum, well, that's something I would want to follow, because this consolidation should give us a pretty nice breakout. Typically, the longer the consolidation, the bigger the build up, technically the bigger the breakout as well. So we could see a decent move. I'll say the next kind of big target for CAD Yen would be the high here around 108. So I do expect a lot more upside for CAD Yen. Would I take a break and retest now? Probably not. I would want to see us have a slightly bigger breakout, because sometimes we have a slight breakout just to break back within. Not really what I'm after. So I want to see kind of momentum pick up a little bit and price kind of create some more new highs. That will give me a bit of confidence that if we do come back for a retest, it's likely to hold and price likely to continue. I'm always a big fan of following the bigger breakouts and following retests after that. I'll never really look for a breakout where we just kind of clear the level and I'm looking for a retest straight away, because they're quite prone to fake outs. I want something to really clear the level. I think this is a good example of that. You can see price had a very strong level of resistance. We broke through the high and then we came straight back below, but the breakout was very shallow, didn't really have much momentum either. So that's something I'm not really interested in following. And that's kind of what we got here as well. So if price can kind of keep going, showing more momentum, that would give me a bit more confidence, a bit more trust that this breakout's the real deal and will likely continue. And as we mentioned, we've got 108 there as the next kind of major target for CAD Yen. So yeah, I'll be pretty bullish with this one. Yen was pretty weak yesterday. We did see kind of upside for a lot of the yen pairs. I'll take a look at the yen in a second. In terms of pound yen, strong push to the upside as well yesterday. Again, hasn't quite cleared resistance. I would still say we've got some work to do before I would say resistance is well and truly broken. You've got one high, second high, third high. And again, we slightly did close above, but nothing meaningful. Same kind of situation, which we just explained with CAD Yen. We only just about closed above. Very prone to fake outs. I want price to well and truly clear that level, leave it in the dust, and then the opportunities following after that will be something a lot more trustworthy and of higher quality as well. So pound yen, it looks like we are starting to break to the upside. It's not confirmed, but it looks like we are getting that. So I would suggest a push back into 199.5. Looks like a likely target. I did say if we do clear resistance there, this becomes my target for the trade. If we do break out of the channel, so clear the trend line like this, then this becomes my target for the trade back into 186 roughly, and maybe further as well. But of course, it looks like we're getting that initial break to the upside, so kind of the focus is with the buys for now. But yeah, still want to see a bit more upside there for pound yen, and then we can talk about some pullbacks, some retests, and some buys, and hopefully ride it back into kind of 199.5, 200 area, and then we'll go from there. But the yen to me is looking pretty bearish, so I think a lot of the yen pairs do still have room to the upside to run into. Lighton, what's up, my man? Hope you're well. Better late than never, right? Of course, but a lot earlier than normal. Most of the time, you know, you join a little bit later. How the markets, can you recap dollar CAD? No problem. Yeah, I'll go through dollar CAD quickly. I'll go through the rest of the yen pairs. But yeah, dollar CAD, I'm interested in some longs. The market has been very bearish and we've been falling for a while. Yeah, the bears are definitely in control of this market. But based on where we're heading to, based on where we're trading at currently, coming back into a zone like this where we had a very sharp rally to the upside, this is an area which I want to be looking to buy. This is an area which I want to be looking to try and fade this bearish move and try and find some higher lows or some equal lows to go long. Of course, you have to be careful. The bears are very much in control, and for all I know, price might still want to break through the zone and continue. So you got to be careful. But price is slowing down. You can see how corrected we are becoming. So that is a key indication that, okay, we're slowing down. Bears likely to take profit and buyers are coming into the market. So if I can see some double bottoms, some higher lows, that's really what I'm looking for to get into some trades and targets, keeping it modest, push back into the high here. This high, so around 1.37, 250, 375, 1.385 maybe, if things go very well. That's really what I'm looking for now for dollar CAD. I'm not so interested with the shorts because of, number one, where we're trading, number two, how we're trading in terms of how corrected we've been, and number three, how far the bearish trend has gone. It's been pretty bearish for a while, so I think the bigger move now will be for the buyers. We might still be bearish, don't get me wrong. I'm not necessarily favoring a reversal. I just think we'll likely have a pullback. We may just form a lower high and continue later on. And in that case, I'll be bearish again because we're not trading back into areas of demand. Now we're coming back into areas of supply. I can be looking to short again. But for now, I would be pretty bullish. Okay, Dan, we'll take a look at silver. Longs. Okay, cool. So you got a long bias I'm taking as well. Yeah, again, the market is bearish, but we've been falling for quite a while, coming back into some very strong bullish territories right now. You can see last time we were here, we ripped to the upside for a lot of momentum. This is a bullish area. Now, we are looking for longs, but doesn't necessarily mean the market has to go long. Let's differentiate between the two. The market is bearish right now, so we need to get that indication that things are about to shift, which we haven't really had yet. Looking at the 4-hour chart, market still looks like it's on its way down. Hourly chart, market still looks like it's on its way down. So I think the buys now would be a little bit too early. But in terms of where we're trading, I think the buys is the correct kind of idea to be looking for. Just waiting for the market to kind of set up well. But yeah, I do have a long bias there for dollar CAD. A lot of the USD pairs, I'm kind of looking to see if I can buy USD. But yeah, USD doesn't look quite ready yet, so I have to be patient with that. But as for silver, everything's pretty straightforward with silver. Clear breakout of resistance here at 35, as you can see here. Very, very juicy move. Now I'm looking to see if price can come back and retest the level. At the moment, not necessarily not looking likely, just not happened yet. Just still going to keep an eye at 34.8, 35. I think that's still a very smart place for a long. So I'll wait patiently to see if that does happen. At the moment, we've kind of got this range going on, which price has been in for a few days. I think a break and retest of that range is probably the likely opportunity we're going to get now. I think the pullback here, yeah, I'm not too sure if we see that move, but not to worry, because if you do see a strong break and a good retest, I still do expect a lot of upside. So it's not a situation where our risk to reward is now sabotage. I still think we can get some really big trades here for silver, especially if this is a breakout, a proper breakout. I do expect to see quite a lot of momentum and a pretty nice trend form as well. So yeah, going forward with silver, very bullish on this pair, keeping a close eye at that range for some opportunities. I like 35 as well, so keeping a close eye there. But yeah, as a whole, very, very bullish on the pair. As for the yen pairs, so as I mentioned, yen was pretty weak yesterday. We did see a drive lower. As you can see, a lovely wick to the upside on the daily chart a couple of days back, or was that Monday? No, last Friday. And we've been looking pretty bearish since then, and looks like we've pushed back into areas of support. So with this taking into consideration, what's the next move for the yen? Well, since this is a pretty strong level of support, I would be looking for some buying opportunities here. But I do think we can run through the lows first. I do think price would likely take out the lows. We might recover them, and then some buys afterwards would look really good. If we do completely break through, well, I wouldn't say it's the end of the world for the yen. Still kind of got like a swing low back over here, which I wouldn't be surprised if we do drive into just to form another high low and push up again. I say that because this move has been very, very corrective on the way down. It's not like price has shot up and then shot down aggressively. It's been a very slow corrective move, which does lead me to believe that soon enough we'll probably break to the upside at some point, whether it's going to be a retest of this zone and price is going to push, or a retest of this zone and price is going to push. I'm not too sure, but this is definitely a level of focus, so I'm going to see how price operates at that area. Like I said, it's a strong level of support, so naturally going to be looking to buy the market. But I think a strong confluence would be a break of the lows, then price recovers that for a buy. Because now we've seen at least twice where price has tapped into this level and seen strong rejections. So that would mean that there will be some liquidity below us there. And a grab of that, I think, would be a nice confluence to the trade. So yeah, I'm still kind of looking to see if I can take some buys for the yen. You also think due to kind of the global climate right now, we could see a strong yen as well. Yen is a safe haven. People could look to flock their money into the yen currency, which of course could provide some strength for it as well. Haven't really seen that happen. We saw a glimpse on Friday, Thursday, coming into Friday. But since then, yen's been on decline. So we'll have to wait and see if that yen strength really does come into play. But a very strong level of support. I'm looking to see if we can go against that and take some buys. Of course, what that means is that there could be some sells for the yen pairs. And as I said yesterday, there's a couple yen pairs which I do like the shorts for. Euro yen is one of them, and Swiss yen is the other. Swiss I like a lot because I think with the Swiss interest rates, we could see a very nice move for that one. If the Swiss rates, bit of a tongue twister there. If the Swiss rates do cut, and we do see a weak CHF off the back of that, accompanied with a strong yen, could see Swiss yen really take a tumble. So I think shorts there look interesting. As for Euro yen, as you can see, we're trading at some major resistance right now. Prices just plucked the high, so we have closed above. Again, I'm not kind of looking to follow that. This is a major high. We saw a massive move down from here. So just a candle breaking above is not going to make or break my bias just yet. Price might want to trade slightly above this area and then break back underneath before the short. So I'm going to keep on my toes for that. Of course, this could be a breakout, could be a genuine breakout, and price does continue to fly. That could be the case. We'll find out when we find out. But my bias is still very short bias. So what I'm looking for the yen is very much a drive lower. Perhaps a break of the lows as well. That would be a very nice confluence. And then some shorts perhaps on the retest of the same level. And I would expect a really big sell-off after that. So, and especially looking at how price is moving, you can see how corrective we are on the way up. That's a big sign to me that says, okay, although yes, we're pushing up hard, momentum is very slim. So the buyers are not really do anything impressive, so I do think a sell is still very much on the cards, and I think a lot of buyers will be looking to take profit as well. So yeah, going to keep a close eye on that. What's up, Abraham? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Bitcoin, Ethereum, okay. We'll have a look. See, D-Mark, good morning, my man. Welcome to the stream. Hope everyone is well. Okay, so we'll take a look at BTC and Ethereum. So with Bitcoin, yeah, Bitcoin was interesting yesterday. It was quite bullish. Did pull back towards the end, but I wasn't expecting such a strong move from Bitcoin. I did say I'm kind of a bit more neutral now with Bitcoin because we are forming these lower highs, which makes things a little bit awkward. We had this very strong bullish move off the back of last week. We broke out this channel very well. So at that point, I was like, okay, Bitcoin's just going to run back to highs, back to 112K, and we're just going to see some new highs past that. Maybe if we're lucky, we do see a pullback into this area for a retest for a buy. We did see the pullback. It was an unsuccessful retest. And since then, the price has been kind of a bit all over the shop. So I said on my weekly analysis, if you're looking to buy Bitcoin, I think the area that makes the most sense would be another drive back into support at 101K. You can see prices a bit flat now. So generally speaking, buying as low as possible is normally the best bet. Kind of away from the noise at the extremes. You can get a safe stop loss-ish and kind of maximize your risk reward. So I'll be focusing on the longs down at the lows here. I think trying to operate in these areas where we're forming higher lows and now lower highs as well. There's no kind of consistency with price. So in terms of getting good read and direction, I think it's a little bit difficult, especially on the lower time frames. Of course, as a whole, BTC is very bullish, so naturally we do have that bullish bias, but dropping to the lower time frames, we are seeing some red flags. A lot of momentum there, topped out, pushed down again. Looks like we're forming another lower high there. So BTC is not looking that well right now. So in terms of finding some buying opportunities, I'll focus at the lows here. 101K I think makes the most sense. And maybe we can see a push back to highs, or maybe we continue to consolidate. But I think that would be a smart place for a buy for Bitcoin. And in terms of Ethereum, I'm pretty sure we're still ranging, aren't we? Yeah, still trapped within that range. We've got resistance above us, support below us. Price is struggling to break out either way. So again, not a lot to do with Ethereum. The same situation as BTC. That one's becoming quite flat. So you just want to operate at the lows and at the highs. Same thing with Ethereum. If you want to, you can be looking to buy low and sell high. So as price does move back into support, there might be some nice buys off the back of that. As we move back into resistance, there might be some nice sells off the back of that. Not really my focus. I'm more concerned with the breakout. So I'm waiting for price to clear the lows or clear the highs and then look for opportunities after that has happened. So pullback opportunities to continue that momentum. I think that will be the bigger move. Normally it is. And that's where there's a lot more momentum as well. So I'm waiting for price to kind of pick a direction, which way it's going to go. I don't really have a predetermined bias for Ethereum. I'm kind of just staying open-minded as long as we stay within that range. Not interested really with predicting price. But if we can break to the low or break to the high, fantastic. Then we can look for some trading ideas. But yeah, as long as we remain inside that range, I'll leave price alone. And BTC looks like we're starting to form a range there. With that one as well. So a bit of uncertainty right now for cryptocurrencies, or at least BTC and Ethereum. Matter, good morning, hope you're well. How clean is price action when trading synthetics such as volatility index? Could you get... I've never traded the volatility index before. So I have no idea, Batter. I stick with my FX pairs, sometimes a bit of commodities and sometimes a bit of the indices, but I've never traded any volatility index at all. I've never even probably looked at it maybe a few times, but I've never traded before. So not the best person to ask for advice on trading those instruments, because again, I've never traded it before. And again, in terms of how clean price action will be, FX will give you the cleanest price action as a whole. In particular, Euro USD will, because it's the most traded market. Typically, there's a correlation between how clean price action is and the amount of participants there are in the market. Euro USD has the most participants, the most trading volume. So that, in terms of price action, will give you the kind of the cleanest, purest price action across pretty much any other market, as a whole, because there's the most people in it. So, which is why FX is quite popular, because it's a very heavily traded market. Therefore, price action quite trustworthy. The less participants people are looking to trade it or involved with it, the more ugly the price action will get, the more gaps in the price action, the more kind of volatile moves you'll see as well. You're not going to see that volatile moves on Euro USD because it's just so liquid. There's just so many people in it, so many people buying it, selling it. It's very, very liquid. Less people in it, the more kind of unimpure the price action will be, or unclean. But yeah, I've never traded it, so we wouldn't know. Sets to die, what's up? Good morning, hope you're well. Dollar CAD shorts intraday look okay, or have a look see. Dan, oil and USD JPY okay, we'll have a look, no problem. Matter, happy to help. Stefan, what's up? Gold in a good buying value. Yeah, I think gold's in a nice place as well. I'll go through that in a second. Just looking for a good entry now already with gold. But yeah, in terms of dollar CAD, I'm not interested in shorting it. I'll go through the intraday kind of outlook of it, but it's definitely a pair which I'm looking to buy. I wouldn't say it's bullish yet. I'm looking to buy. It's not quite ready. But yeah, I can take a look at the lower time frames for you. And again, lower time frames still look bearish, are still very consistent with these lower highs here. So I think shorts is still a good idea. And it looks to me that we're probably going to get another drive back into these lows. I mean, from a 15-minute point of view, I wouldn't really want to be entering down here. I kind of want to be focusing my efforts at the highs. So if price was maybe to go and run the highs again, I think that would be a nice place to sell the market. We've had a nice push down. If we were to rip through the highs again, as long as we don't go and take out structure, which is this swing high, that will keep me bearish intraday. And then I'll be looking for a swing back into the low, or at least back into this area here if we were to push back up. Of course, we might just fall to the downside and push back into the lows. Well, if that's the case, I think it's more of a missed opportunity. But if we were to have another pullback, which very much could happen this afternoon, I think the shorts still look good up at the highs there. Nice place for a stop loss away from all the noise, and some relatively healthy targets back at the lows. So dollar CAD, I would be pretty bearish with this one. Intraday, I do agree with that bias. I think we are likely to run back into lows at 1.35450. But in terms of an entry, I would want to see a pullback before getting involved back into highs, and preferably even taking out highs as well, and then looking at a reversal from then onwards. But as long as we don't take out that swing, let me go back to the hourly chart. As long as we don't take out this swing level, I would remain bearish intraday. If we take that level out, yeah, especially with momentum, that probably gives us a bullish move there. So watch out for that. Okay, so hopefully that made sense on dollar CAD. Dollar yen, oil, we'll take a look next, and we'll go through gold as well. What's up, Holy One? Welcome to the stream. CAD yen smash. Yeah, I saw that. Beautiful move on the yen. Euro pound almost there. Euro pound still moving sideways. To be honest, I haven't actually looked at Euro pound since the stream yesterday. Okay, ooh, we're starting to pick up some momentum now though. We had a bit of a move down yesterday, but looks like we're picking up. But yeah, I mean, momentum is still with the buys there. I think this is going to be a bit of an obstacle, but if we can clear that, it should be looking pretty good. Momentum looks pretty strong at the moment as well. So yeah, hopefully we go and smash through that level pretty soon. In terms of USD JPY, so yeah, USD JPY still a very flat market. A lot of people have been asking about USD JPY. I'm not really a big fan of the pairs. I'm not too sure what you guys are seeing. Yeah, the market to me just looks very flat. We've got a lot of support down here, which has provided some nice buying opportunities as of late. Really strong rejection a couple of weeks back. But since then, the market has just been flat. It's been ranging between these highs and these lows. So I wouldn't really try to do anything inside of this range, because that's where the most indecisiveness is. That's where the most kind of speculation is. There's no consistency with the direction of the market kind of just fluctuating. Unless you're looking to buy low and sell high, then yeah, sure, there might be some opportunities there. But in terms of kind of seeing a trend and direction, I don't think dollar yen's quite there yet. Again, I'm still looking at these major highs and lows as targets for the trade. So if we do get into some nice buys and a breakout, I would expect us to rally back into the highs up there. If we do go and break support, then I do think we can see a push back into the lows down here. But of course, if that is the case, then I do want to see price give me that break of structure, which would be a break of the lows here, and then hopefully a retest shortly afterwards, or a break of the highs and a retest shortly afterwards for a long. So those are opportunities which look good to me, because at that point you've got momentum. At that point there's probably a high likelihood we are going to push to highs or we are going to push to lows. And then if you can find a retest, that would be brilliant. Great place to put an entry and a stop loss and swing it back into lows, and hopefully momentum will look good then as well. So not only is price breaking out, but hopefully we'll see momentum off the back of that too. But yeah, within that range, I would leave price alone. I'm not seeing any kind of meaningful, significant opportunity really. I think price action isn't looking particularly great there. As I said, for oil, I'm still pretty bullish on this one. I think there's more upside to be had. Ideally, it would be nice to see a push back into 66 for a buy. It has proven to be a very solid level of support. Support was support back over there as well. Didn't really act as resistance. Price had a slight rejection, but we rallied through pretty quickly afterwards. So I do think there is still more upside to be had for oil back to 80. We've got a massive swing high there. I think price is likely to come back and revisit that. So in terms of finding some entries for oil, it would be nice to come back and revisit 66, test that level again. It was acting as support so well previously. I think it can act as support again well now. So let's see if we can get a push back into that zone. It looks to be that this brief area of resistance is holding. Did see a slight down move in price rip to the upside. This has held support as support, and the market's had a bit of a reaction. We could continue from here, but again, I would wait to see if we can get that retest. I think that would be the better place for a buy anyway. And then from there, hopefully we can swing it back into resistance, and maybe for lucky back into 80 as well. But I like oil because of the risk reward. I think the risk reward looks really good for oil. Probably treat this as a big fake out now, and somewhat of like an inverse head and shoulder pattern, with that being the right shoulder, and then expecting the continuation. So yeah, oil, I would be pretty bullish on that one. Saturday, Aussie, Swiss, no problemo. We'll take a look. Good morning, Yusuf. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. Thank you. Good morning, Mindful. What is up? Welcome to the stream. Been dollar CAD sell since 8:50 a.m. Okay, just a little blue going to the 1 hour low. Yeah, it looks good to get there as well. I think dollar CAD on the lower time frames does look pretty bearish. USD is still pretty bearish right now. So I do think dollar CAD is looking good, to be honest. I think if you look at a lot of the USD pairs, we're kind of still seeing that USD weakness is still the main factor. I'm looking to see if I can buy the dollar at some stage. Kind of waiting for signs of reversal. Hasn't really come into play just yet, but I'm going to keep a close eye. So yeah, as for Aussie CHF, I believe that's the next pair. I don't think I've missed a pair out yet. So as for Aussie CHF, it's a pair which I'm still very much interested in. I was buying it last week, but was trailed out at break even. Momentum kind of just switched on CPI, was in a bit of profit, and then price went against me and knocked me out the trade for break even. But I don't mind it. I think there's still a big buy to be had. Maybe I was just a bit early to the party, but price is coming from all-time lows. So I do think there's a big recovery to be had, coming back into this consolidation. Eventually, I do think we can come back and test those areas, but we've got to be patient. The market still might want to have another sell-off as well, so that could be the case too. Got to watch out for that. At the moment, I would say the market's still pretty bearish. I did say if I'm looking to buy Aussie CHF again, I do kind of want to see a big recovery, and then I'll be looking at a bounce like this, and again, kind of like a head and shoulder opportunity. But if I can see a bigger recovery than a retest of that zone, that would be something that would interest me, or even a break of structure as well, and then a higher low, that would be nice. But yeah, as of right now, structure looks pretty bearish to me, so I'm being very cautious with jumping into any longs just yet. Like I said, we might still want to drive lower. I'm more interested in the shorts because of where we're situated. I think the buys are the bigger move, so that's kind of what I'm gearing up for. But until I see structure that kind of represents that well, either that kind of inverse head and shoulder pattern or a break of structure even, I'm kind of looking for that next higher low for the buy. Right now we're still making lower lows, not really forming any double bottoms. Bears still in control, so being cautious. But yeah, I'm getting ready for some buys soon. Okay, so dollar CAD at 8.15. What time frame do you use again, Honey One, for your entries? Is it the 15-minute chart or the hourly? But yeah, 8.15, that'll be around about here-ish. So yeah, nice entry. Nice entry. So yeah, I would suggest price looks likely to push back into lows. Nice close as well. The hourly candle just closed right now. Nice momentum there, clearing support. Looks pretty good to get back to lows. But yeah, I'm more interested in some buys for this one. But as of right now, bears are still in control. So I'm going to have to sit on the sidelines. Pound Aussie mindful, we'll take a look next. Oh yeah, hourly, okay, yeah, I just forgot if it was hourly or 15 you used. Underneath the 50, yeah. I remember now, I remember. But yeah, Pound Aussie, I'm pretty bearish on this pair. I do think there is a lot of room to the downside. We've taken out some major highs from COVID. So after we've done that, I've been expecting us to kind of pull back, back into some highs like such or as such, and come back to retest those areas. So I'm pretty bearish on the pair. I like the fact that this resistance area is kind of holding and doing its job. I think as long as that stays intact, the bears remain in control, and I do expect us to roll over. In terms of finding shorts, that's the difficult bit really with Pound Aussie, because now that we've had another rejection from that level, it's kind of like, okay, that's really where we want to be entering our trades, not really now, especially as we approach support right now. So not the best time to be looking to jump into sells. Maybe if we break the lows here, that might be an opportunity on a lower time frame, a break and retest opportunity. Preferably, I would like to be up at the highs here, where I'm away from all the noise. I can get some safe stop losses above the highs and position myself where if things do go well, I can trail to break even and not be too worried about price coming back to stop me out, because if we do see a nice push down, price has to push all the way up here to take me out break even before going down. So I can probably stomach a decent pullback and still capitalize on a sell. If my entry is like here, well, price always has that capability of taking me out the trade before continuing for the bigger move. Whereas here, I'm kind of out the way, out of the noise. Again, I can still get taken out break even, still take unnecessary losses there as well. Nothing is necessarily perfect, but there are better options, and that would be a better option in my opinion. But in terms of direction, I would be bearish. As I said, 2.02, 2.000 on the dot really would be my targets for Pound Aussie. We've taken out major highs from COVID. I do think it's time for a pullback. And the fact that we are still failing at highs here does kind of coincide with that idea. Buys very corrective, not seeing as much energy to break the highs. Even when we did over here, still kind of just fall flat in our face. So Pound Aussie to me looks like a market that's getting ready to drop. Just hopefully in terms of entries, you can see a push higher, or at the very least, a break and retest of the lows. But yeah, I'd say 2.05 is your next major target, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, pretty bearish here for pound Aussie. I do think we can continue to fall. Likewise for pound NZD as well. This is another market that looks pretty bearish. I was actually hoping to get some entries this week for pound NZD. But unfortunately, it looks like we're not quite getting that. Yeah, I was hoping price could push back into resistance. Kind of similar to what pound Aussie did. Pound NZD was the slightly better option. We've got this kind of head and shoulder pattern at play. Left head, right shoulder. There's your neckline. So that's kind of the idea I was looking to play. Then we had price kind of break out of this descending channel. So I was like, okay, if things are looking bullish now, we might see a drive back into resistance before we do fall over. So that would be a nice area to look for some entries, to take some shorts, and then take it back into the low. So the plan this week was hoping for a drive into this level, look for some rejection, and then take some shorts. But looks like price only got about halfway before it's turning back around. But yeah, pound NZD, another market which I feel like it's a bit overbought. We've taken out COVID highs quite a long time ago, but I think we're still due a pullback from then. It looks to me that this kind of trend line here is starting to give way. Of course, hasn't really broken yet, but I do think it will. And that should open the floodgates there for pound NZD. So another market which pretty bearish on, but just not quite pulling back enough for a decent entry there. Okay, just closed EJ, got in at the 50, so it's moved enough for me. Okay, fair enough. Nope. Yeah, of course. Again, especially for Euro Pound, there's not a lot of pips in Euro Pound. Yeah, there's not a lot of pips, so I think closing the trade a little bit early, especially when you've already seen a nice move in prices, not far away from your targets. Again, it's not going to define your trading, closing the trade early. Because I'm a big believer in terms of being adaptable for every trade, because every trade is unique. Of course, the strategy and the reason why you enter the trade is the same, but every trade has its own unique kind of circumstances, situations, and being able to be flexible, I think, is a very kind of important skill in trading, because you don't want to be too robotic in terms of, okay, I buy here, sell here, and I just do that completely, because market conditions change, things become more volatile. Sometimes you need to have a bigger stop loss, sometimes you need to have a smaller stop loss, sometimes you shouldn't buy it even though it does fit your plan, and sometimes you should even maybe double up on risk because it's such a good opportunity. So being flexible is a really good skill to have, and knowing when, okay, price might go and hit my target here, but we are seeing some rejection, so maybe closing the trade a little bit early. Yes, I miss out on those extra 6 pips, but those 6 pips are not going to define my trading career, are they? Yeah, I think the only big thing is that you don't make it too much of a habit, because what some people do is they'll close the trade early, and then they'll just kind of close every trade early. Not necessarily because it's a good idea, just because of our panic. Maybe you see a slight pullback, close the trade early, slight pullback, close the trade early. That's when you have an underlying problem there. Because again, closing trade early, again, not gonna define your trading career, not gonna make you unprofitable. But if you do it for every trade, well, then you're gonna be eventually leaving some decent profit on the table. So definitely have to be careful of that. And same thing with losses as well. If you've got a stop loss, sometimes it makes sense to close the trade early, because the likelihood is that price is going to push the stop loss. So might as well just take the loss here rather than hold on for those extra few pips. And instead of losing $100, you lose $120. Save that extra 20. That can help your equity curve. But of course, if you close every trade that is heading to stop loss, you will miss out on some winners, because sometimes you need that stop loss to kind of help stomach that drawdown, and then price potentially will reverse in your favor. So you need to be able to be flexible to say, okay, well, this trade is probably likely to hit my stop loss. Let me just get out of the way. Or a situation where, okay, there's still a chance price can push in my favor. We're still seeing whatever. So I want to hold out to my stop loss. You know, you have to be able to make those decisions as well. Just like with take profits, same situation. Set to die, Aussie CHF and dollar CAD, are they correlated? No, not really. Not inherently correlated, not directly correlated. I'm sure you're able to find some type of correlation between the two. I mean, USD and CHF sometimes are quite correlated. In terms of positively correlated, CHF and USD can, because fundamentally they're kind of both viewed as safe haven currencies. So a lot of people do put money into the Swiss franc, the yen, the USD for similar, global situations. So there is some positive correlation there. Outside of that, not too much. Then of course Aussie and USD most of the time are inversely correlated, but nothing crazy. So yeah, not really. I wouldn't be looking at Aussie CHF and dollar CAD as correlated pairs. But the theory that when you run doesn't make much sense to me. You're only winning when it's going in your direction. Within minutes, it can reverse 50 pips. Yeah, true. I think in terms of when people say let your winners run, I don't think it necessarily means just let them run continuously without a plan to exit. I think particularly in FX, you got to learn when to take your profit. But I think the idea of letting your winners run is just making sure that your winners are just bigger than your losses, whether they're like 5x bigger or 2x bigger or 1.5x bigger. I don't think it necessarily matters too much. I think the core concept of just letting your winners run, I agree. If you just let them run without any expectation, especially in FX, you're going to see your profits disappear quite a lot because the market chops around quite a lot. Look how choppy it is. You could be in a long down here and then price runs in your favor. You're like, okay, let me just let my winners run. But no, it comes all the way back down against you. It does this quite a lot of the time. And that's FX pairs for you. Maybe with indices, you have a bit more luck with it because there's that kind of continuous direction. But FX, you'll be punished. So in FX, I think it's very smart to take your profits at big levels. But the way I kind of interpret the term let your winners run is just make sure your winners on average are bigger than your losses on average. So you're kind of letting your winners run in a way, but not kind of blindly. Because I do agree, 50 pips can go very, very quickly. So the way I view let your winners run is just make sure that on average your winners are bigger than your losses. So even if your win rate is less than 50%, you can still walk away for profit. That's the way I kind of view it. Malik, good morning. Hope you're well. No problem. I'm glad you find it useful. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. So I do really appreciate it. And of course, hit the bell too if you haven't done so already, so you don't miss out any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do go and hit the bell. Yeah, I agree, Holy One. Yusuf, thoughts on Euro USD, pound, gold, short thing? Do I think gold is at a good level to buy? I will go and take a look. Yeah, I'm actually looking to buy gold. I'm looking for entries at the moment, but nothing quite there yet. But in terms of the area, yes, I do. But we'll go take a look at them in a bit more detail. What's up, Dissy? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Euro Aussie. Okay, we'll have a look. Haven't looked at that pair yet. Poppy. Okay, on the day chart. Yeah, I mean, with the day chart, yeah, it's going to take time. I mean, what I've noticed with the daily chart, though, is that you can go through quite a long period without any trades, and then suddenly you get like 8 different pairs all set up within like 4 days of each other. Because what I've noticed is that the correlation kind of magnifies in the higher time frames. when you drop to the lower time frame, sometimes the correlation can kind of fluctuate, even between like Euro USD and pound, especially like an intraday chart. They are very correlated pairs, but they all have their kind of differences. On like a daily chart, you see the correlation in a lot more detail and a lot more in sync. So when you get like a good sell on pound, more often than not, you could probably get a good sell on euro as well. So you might see nothing for a while, and then suddenly 8 pairs kind of just set up all together, and you're going to have to kind of manage how many trades you do take. But yeah, the daily chart is going to come and go with opportunities. It's going to take a little bit longer to set up as well. Anyway, we'll go through UJ in the 5 minute for Anton. I'm not a big fan of this pair. A lot of people are talking about dollar yen, but again, the way I view it, at least on the 4-hour chart, is that the market's kind of consolidating. So I'm not really looking for any opportunities inside this area until price kind of makes a solid breakout. Then yeah, I will be happy to follow that that move. But inside the range, not really what I want to be looking at. As for the 5-minute chart, again, we have somewhat of an uptrend here, but we're coming back into some areas of supply, so I wouldn't really be looking to follow it. Not a bad buy this morning. Price came back into the low there, solid rejection. I think that's still a nice place for a buy, but I probably want price to take out the low first before buying, because it has proven to be a solid support, but I think we probably would run the lows first before pushing back up. And then yeah, maybe a push back into resistance, somewhat kind of continue the uptrend. I wouldn't be looking for fresh highs. I think that's a bit too optimistic. It could happen, of course, but judging how sideways the market is, I wouldn't be surprised if we completely reverse and push back down again. So I think this is still a great place for a buy, but I'll keep it short and sweet, back to resistance, and probably call it a day there. Yeah, not a big fan of the price action. Okay, so we'll take a look at Euro USD, pound, and the 15. So yeah, for Euro, we spoke about this one yesterday on the 15, didn't we? I believe we were trading. Where were we trading? Okay, we're trading around here, and I talked about a retest of this zone for a buy. I mean, it has come back around for the buy. But I was looking for it from this level. I wasn't expecting us to drive to new highs and then push down. It's proven to be acting as support at the moment, but would I be as optimistic about the buys? No, not really. I think right now we're quite flat. A nice breakout of that could actually provide a nice buy opportunity back into the high, because this could, of course, be the next higher low. But in terms of a solid entry signal, because of how flat we're trading, I'd wait to see if we can break the high first and then pull back to retest that, rather than trying to find some buy entries here to take advantage of the swing, where things are a little bit more 50-50. We might still break lower. But yeah, on the 50-minute chart, I'll still be looking for a drive back to the swing high, keeping things simple. You know, the trend's still very much up in the higher time frames. Lower time frame, the trend is still up. We're still seeing higher lows here. So yeah, I would be favoring a push back into resistance. But I would want to see that consolidation break to the upside first, just to know that, okay, momentum is in favor of the bulls. We're likely going to see a push higher. So that would be my expectation there for Euro USD in the 15. Pound USD on the 15, I would imagine is looking too good. Yeah, so where were we on the 15 yesterday? I think we were over here. I spoke about another drive back into the lows for a buy. I still think that's a decent place for a buy, so if we can continue this back into the lows, I still think that's a decent place for a buy. Perhaps another push back into resistance. You know, we still somewhat have these higher lows. 1, 2, perhaps we could still put a third one in. You got somewhat of a trend line connecting the lows there. Maybe even spike into the trend line here as well. So I still think that's a decent buy for pound USD. The market is very, very flat, so you want to operate at the extremes. If we're trending well, then you can be a bit more aggressive with your entries, but we're not trending well at all. Market is very, very flat right now, so I'll try and get my entries as low as possible, away from all the noise. And of course, that'll do wonders for my risk reward as well, because of where I'm positioned. But yeah, I'll try and find a buy from this low for pound USD. I still would be bullish on the pair like euro, but I'll wait to see if we can push a little bit further down. As for gold, on the 15, I'm looking at the hourly chart for some buys. So I'm waiting for momentum to kick in, but it looks like we're starting to see some right now, actually. How are we looking on the hourly chart? So yeah, we're seeing that indication. I said if we can get a strong close to the upside, that would be enough for a buy on the hourly chart for myself. But yeah, we've been pretty bearish the past couple of days, but it's been very corrective, which is the key takeaway. You can see how corrective we're looking in this channel, which is a good indication to suggest, okay, we're probably going to break to the upside. We just need that kind of catalyst, and maybe right now we've got it. So let's see if this can continue. But yeah, gold, I think it's a nice place for a buy. We've got this pullback, which gave us this high over there. I'm looking at this just as an ordinary pullback. I think from a 15-minute chart, you might want to wait for price to trend first to the upside and then look for the higher low, and then that would be your entry for the trade. Because either you're kind of buying the breakout, or you're trying to catch the higher low after the breakout. Again, there is no technically wrong or right answer. Yes, there is no wrong answer. The breakout can provide nice opportunities. The pullback can provide nice opportunities. But either which way, I would be looking to buy it and swing it back into the high there at 34.50. So yeah, gold's starting to look interesting now. Starting to see some momentum. So good. Let's see if we can keep that up and don't kind of just fall flat in our face this afternoon. I would be looking for some pullbacks afterwards to buy, but breakout opportunities are not a bad idea as well. But yeah, judging where we're trading, looking to the left here, solid resistance. Looks to be just about acting as support. I do have this area slightly below where, okay, if this doesn't hold, I would still be looking at some buys a little bit deeper down. But for the most part, still a very bullish market, and I do think we can go a lot higher. But yeah, I do think we're at a nice level for a buy. We'll go through Euro Aussie next. Yeah, I mean, again, support resistance, very, very effective tool to use Poppy when used correctly. Hey, that's great to hear, Alfie. Great to hear. I'm not too sure what you're on about there, Anton. Recovering like gold. Okay, UJ, you trade permanently, so you just trade dollar yen now? Is that what you're saying? Temel, USD, yes, we'll take a look as well. Haven't looked at that pair yet. Let me go through Euro Aussie. So Euro Aussie, another pair which I'm looking for some downside. We've been trending to the upside for a while, but we've had this very kind of anticlimactic, massive impulse. And typically when price has been trending for a while and you see kind of a big run to the upside, normally it's kind of just a flush for price to reverse. Kind of like what we had here. I know this was kind of affected by COVID, so we had a massive move to the upside, but you can see the way price came straight back down. Let me find another kind of here as well, trending up, big spike to the upside, price reversed, sort of like here as well. It's a very common pattern, sometimes not as obvious to spot, but this is kind of like a clear example of a big push down, a big push up. So I would expect us to kind of slowly make our way back down. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm expecting complete reversal. It might just end up being a pullback for us to continue higher, but I do expect to see more downside in the meantime. Hence why I do have more of a bearish bias for this pair, despite the bullish structure we have at the moment. But the key thing is, okay, I've got a bearish bias, but how do I trade this? I'm not really seeing clear opportunity for that, which of course is the most important thing. I was liking this level last week. I had an entry here, which I didn't take because I was trading Aussie CHF at the time, so I didn't want to double down on Aussie. It would have been a nice trade, at least back to support. We didn't see the full swing, which I was expecting, a push into the low here. We only saw a drive back into support here, but still a decent move, can lock in some gains there. Now you've got this rally to the upside here as well. So I'm wondering if we're just going to come right back down, perhaps push back into resistance, and then maybe get a short there. So that's kind of what I'm looking to trade here with Euro Aussie. Still a long way to go before that pattern does shape up. But I'm still looking for a drive back into these lows here. I'm not convinced that this uptrend here is going to continue back to the highs here. I do think the sellers are still in control of the market. We're just kind of seeing one more pullback before we do continue our journey to the lows. So I'm looking to see if we can push back down first, give me the indication that this rally again wasn't really meaningful. Then we can look for a retest and then find some shorts, and hopefully at least a push back into this level. But well and truly, I'll be looking at the lows there. So Euro Aussie, bearish for the pair. Looking at shorts in this kind of format. Yeah, going to have to stay patient. That could still take 3 or 4 days to actually form. USD, a very similar pair to Euro Aussie in terms of their correlation. They pretty much do the same thing most of the time. Same situation here as well. If I expand the chart, you can see we just about plucked the COVID highs here. So this dates back to COVID, massive spike to the upside. We just about wicked through. So again, naturally, I do think we'll have a pullback afterwards. We have had a pullback, but I do expect to see a bit more downside. I'm looking for us to come back and retest the zone here. Again, the entry side of things is where things get difficult. We did kind of break out of this descending channel last week, which has made things a little bit awkward for selling opportunities, because this is more like a breakout and an opportunity to retest to continue higher. So what we might see with USD is a brief uptrend before we do kind of reverse to come back down again. So I have to be patient to wait for this uptrend to kind of fizzle out and hopefully look for some sells shortly afterwards. But yeah, that breakout of that bullish channel is a bullish indication. Of course, I might have a bearish bias in the higher time frames, but it's not really agreeing with what I'm seeing on the 4-hour chart. So I'm going to have to wait for these time frames to agree before I do actually find an entry to get involved. But nonetheless, I'm looking for shorts, so I'm going to not really pay attention to the buys. If I've got a short bias in the higher time frames, there's no point in me trying to take some buys. Might as well just wait for the shorts. But like I said, we might kind of form a bit of an uptrend first and then reverse at some point. But how we reverse and how we kind of set up, I need to wait for price action to print, and then I can kind of analyze it as we go along. But there might be some short-term buyers on the retest of that channel. I'm more fixated with the sell, so I'm just going to wait for that. But if you are bullish, I don't think it's a bad opportunity. Might get a nice push back into the highs here at 1.92. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Euro Aussie, UNZD. But yeah, Euro Aussie, UNZD, Pound Aussie, Pound NZD, those kind of 4 pairs, that kind of quartet. I'm very bearish on those pairs longer term. I do think there's a lot of room to the downside, so I'm kind of just waiting for opportunities to sell them. Not really interested in the buys in the end. This is purely more from a swing perspective. I'm very understanding that from a day trading point of view, there'll be some buy opportunities there, like USD now. But I think the sales will be the bigger move, so that's kind of where my interest lies. Yusuf, happy to help, no problem. Sophia, you said the volume. Again, volume is always a bit tricky with FX markets. It's a little bit unreliable. Volume is a lot better kind of understood with like stocks or kind of indices even, because FX markets, understanding the volume, it's very kind of ambiguous, who's buying what, who's selling what, because again, not all the trading between like Euro USD, for example, is done, through a broker. Countries, when they're buying other products from other currencies, they're not doing it for a broker as well. So in terms of the actual volume, it's always kind of a bit difficult to tell what the exact volume is in FX. So for that reason, I don't really use it because it's not really a trustworthy tool. Yes, you can 100% use it with the strategy I trade in terms of why you would use the volume profile 100%. But in terms of the markets I trade, I don't think it's the best. It will give you the best kind of information. If you're looking at stocks, for example, yeah, sure, that would be a great addition. Aussie Swiss, Temel, okay. Dollar CHF, haven't actually looked at that one yet. That reminds me, we do have the interest rates coming up. Is it tomorrow, the interest rates for the Swiss, or is it Thursday? Let me just double check. I know we've got 3, or was it 4 big interest rates? We had the yen already, which came out the same. But we've got also Swiss, we've also got USD, and we've also got, is it pound? I think it's pound, isn't it? Okay, no, yeah, Swiss is 8:30 UK time on Thursday. And then you got the Fed on Wednesday in the evening. And I think you've got pound. Yeah, pound just after Swiss. So yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday, sorry. So yeah, in terms of Swiss, I'm looking for opportunities to short CHF, and I do think there are some good pairs for it. Dollar CHF, maybe not so much, because that pair still looks pretty bearish to me. But in terms of Aussie CHF, I am still kind of bullish with this one longer term. I'm looking to buy this one. I do think price can run back into this kind of area. Main reason is because price is coming back from all-time lows. If you zoom out and look at the nature of the market, every time we do drive through the lows, you can see the market does pretty much recover almost straight away. We plot the lows, pull back up, plot the lows, pull back up. You know, that's a very common pattern here. Well, we didn't do it there, but we did it over there as well. And we just about plot the lows here as well. So I do expect price to recover and see a pretty big move back up again. Hence why, as a swing trader, I'm quite fixated on the longs. But at the moment, the market is still pretty bearish, so I have to be careful with that. We are still seeing lower lows and lower highs. So as I suggested with this one, I kind of want to see price recover first. Whether we kind of form a breakup structure, then I buy the higher low, or price has a push up, kind of pulls back onto the support level here, and then I capitalize on a retest for a buy. Those are the kind of the two scenarios I'm looking at to get into some longs. And then yeah, I'm looking for a drive back into 0.5446, and then at least a push back into this area here as well, because that's where the supply came from. We had support there, market broke through for a lot of momentum. We never had the retest, so I would expect price to be drawn towards that area. But yeah, now that we are recovered back above this low here, that's a good sign. I would wait for a little bit more upside before I would look for the retest of it. But this opportunity looks like it's starting to formalize, starting to shape up. Then yeah, I would be looking at a swing back to the high. We've got the Swiss interest rates on Thursday, which I'm expecting a weak CHF, so that should help drive our CHF high as well. I'm not really interested with the sells either, so buys are kind of where it's at for me. In terms of dollar CHF, like I said, this one I'm not really interested in buying because at the moment the market still looks pretty bearish to me. I'm still seeing continuous lower lows and lower highs. Not really much bullish indication. We've already broken through structure a while ago. We've also rebounded against a very strong level on the weekly chart. As you can see, some prior resistance here in the market. Support, now turn resistance. We rejected that a few weeks back, and I think that could give us some new lows off the back of that as well. So dollar CHF, although another CHF market, and of course if CHF does become very weak on Thursday, you would expect dollar CHF to rise as well. But if I'm gonna look to buy dollar CHF, I need that first kind of break of structure first to show me that okay, things are shifting back to the buyers, and now we can look at pullbacks to catch the bigger move. But as you can see, things are still looking pretty bearish. Actually, if I just use the zone tool here. So if we're to pull back into this area, I think that'll be a smart place for a short. And I expect a push back into the lows at 0.80392. And then you'll go from there. But again, it's another USD market. USD at the moment is still pretty bearish. It's the dominant currency right now. USD against pretty much any other currency. USD is the weaker one. So USD is in control of things. So yeah, a pull back into that zone, a solid retest, I think would be a nice place for a short. Poppy. If I put in the trade, then interesting. Again, it might just be like a little weird phase. If it happens like a lot repeatedly, then maybe it's something to look at. Maybe because if you think about it, if price is doing that a lot in terms of you get into a trade, it rips off fast, comes back to break even. Well, what's the scenario happens after? Do you see the bigger move in your favor? Let's say you're long here, you had a stop loss here, and your target's up there. Let's say you get into the trade, your price rips off in your favor, then it comes back to your entry, stops you at break even. Well, monitor what happens after, because if it does just hit your break even, then goes to your profit, well, that kind of means either you go and break even too early, or you should just wait for the second test before getting into a buy. Because if it is coming back to stop you at break even, but still going to your targets, it means you're in the right direction. You got a good read of the market in terms of where it's going, but maybe your timing is just a bit too early, or of course, maybe just don't go to break even so early. You know, you can look at either or. Either going to break even a little bit later, or locking in or entering on the second test of that zone you're looking to buy or sell from. If it's the opposite in terms of price, you got a long entry here, stop losses there, targets there, price comes into your favor, nice push in your favor quite quickly, price comes back to knock you out break even, but it keeps falling, well, then that's an indication that you were still kind of right. You caught the initial move, but it just wasn't as big as you predicted because, of course, your target's up there. So in this scenario, I'll be looking to see if I can lock in some gains quicker. Is there some kind of like intermediate target there is where I can lock in some gains before my final target? Or is it a situation where I should move my final target down? Instead of having it so high up, is a situation where my target should be a little bit closer to my entry, because we're not quite seeing those big moves in the market, which I'm predicting. It's a little bit smaller, so my target should be adjusted to that as well. So if you are kind of seeing where price rallies in your favor, then just completely goes against you, well, in that case, you're catching the buys at the right time. It's just maybe your targets are a bit too far. And then you're coming back to walk away with break even. So depending which way most of them do pan out, is it this scenario where things go against you? Well, lock in your gains a little bit quicker. If it's this scenario where they still goes for you, and then just knocks you out break even first, well then look to see if you can enter on the second test or go break even a little bit later. But either which way, there's a tweak to be had. But at the same time, you don't want to make any big changes if it's only like 3 trades, because that could very much happen to anyone. But if it's like, okay, 10, 15 trades, you've been seeing this happen, that's quite a lot. You might want to look at some adjustments to that. Temo, you're not tiring me out. I do this every weekday. I'm quite used to it. Your latest request, okay, CAD Gen, will take it out, no problem, happy to help. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But yeah, I do really appreciate everyone who has liked the stream so far, guys. It does really help out. And of course, subscribe whilst you're at it as well. It helps grow the channel. So yeah, if you have liked or subscribed. Appreciate it. But yeah, we'll go through CAD Yen. Okay, take care, Holy One. Have a good one. We'll catch you later. Hopefully, have a good one. Poppy. Okay. So if that's the case, then that's completely fine. Then, if that's the case where you don't go break even, you normally lose. Well, if price does rip in your favor, then takes you out of break even. Maybe a situation where you need to take your profit a little bit earlier. Maybe your targets are a little bit too far for what the market is doing. It might not necessarily be your targets too far, but in terms of the kind of how volatile the market is, it might not be as volatile as it needs to be to hit your targets as normal. So maybe kind of reducing your targets a little bit, staying kind of in tune with what the market's giving you, allows you to take your profits, so you don't take as many break evens. Or again, doesn't even have to be the whole profit, it could just be like a partial. Okay, let me go through CAD Yen. So yeah, with CAD Yen, it's another Yen pair. Yen is still looking quite weak at the moment. I've been saying for CAD Yen, we've just been ranging. So if I'm looking for an opportunity for CAD Yen, I want to see a breakout of this pair. And if price can break out, then I'll be looking at the next level, which would be this level here. And it looks like we are getting that breakout. It's not the cleanest or the purest breakout you'll ever see. I still want to see a bit more upside before I really kind of trust the breakout. If price comes back for a retest, now I wouldn't be looking for a break and retest. I need the breakouts to be a bit bigger just to show me that, okay, the buyers are well in control here. So if we do get a retest, the likelihood is that price does respect it and does continue. So I think buys look good here for CAD Yen. I want a bit more upside first before we do look for the retest. But yeah, it's just a simple break and retest opportunity. Price has been ranging for a few months now. If this is the breakout, well, I do think we can probably see a similar move. Kind of, if I get the range there, if I clone it, you could probably see a similar move to kind of this area, kind of where it lines up. I would say this is a good first initial target, but maybe you could be talking about push to 110 as well. But again, don't necessarily need to be looking for the home run, of course, but that's just a good kind of metric or kind of indicator to use of how big of a move it could be. But yeah, CAD Yen, I like the buys for this one. Yen still looks pretty weak at the moment, so as long as that stays true, then should see some nice buys. I would wait for a slightly bigger breakout, but yeah, that would be the area which I would buy from. And then yeah, 108 would be the first target. Poppy. Okay, don't like the price action yesterday. Okay, I'll have a look at that. Okay, normally. Okay, so do you normally buy before resistance is broken? So for example, price is at resistance, and then you buy here expecting it to break. Is that the pattern you're talking about? Let me look at your receipt, chef. 100 MA. Yeah, you're a seat chef. Not the biggest fan of this one, especially with the 100 MA as well, because we're kind of very, very flat right now. Plan to sell it off the 100 MA on the daily. I mean, with the 100 MA, it's kind of in the middle of price, so it's not really doing much for me, really. Again, when I'm looking to use moving averages, it's either two things I'm using it for, either direction or support and resistance. So I'm either using it to buy from or sell from if price is rejecting the moving average, or like an indication and trend. You know, if price is above it, we're technically bullish, if price is below it, we're technically bearish. But EuroCHF, since we are just kind of ranging here and they got the moving average just in the middle of everything, I would say the moving average has little to no use really in this kind of setup here. If we can start to break to the upside and maybe the moving average, you know, starts to catch up with price here and then it, you know, use it as support here, then that's a different story. That would be a nice trade because we're breaking out, also retesting the moving average. You know, that kind of does shape up to a nice trade. But at the moment, because the moving average is in the middle of everything and we're in a range as well, I wouldn't really look to be trying to sell or buy from the moving average. I think it's just not in a good place at all, and it's not going to provide much consistency. You can see how many times price is closing above, closing below, closing above, closing below. So it's not really providing any support resistance really, or any use of direction too. So the two kind of main uses of it are kind of nullified right now. So I'd wait for us to get a breakout and then see if we can catch up, if the moving average can catch up, and that could provide a nice buy, whether on the retest or, you know, somewhere later on. Your CHF is at the 100 MA right now. Did I type it in wrong? I don't think so. According to this, 100 MA is still a little bit far. Are you talking about the daily chart or the 4-hour chart? Or like an hourly chart? Okay, hourly chart, we're on it right now. 4-hour chart, we're not quite on it. Daily chart, we're not on it. Yeah, which time frame? Oh, okay. Was I looking at the 4-hour chart? Yeah, I was looking at the 4-hour. My bad. Apologies. I was looking at the 4-hour chart. Okay, the daily chart's not too bad actually. The daily chart's not too bad. Okay, I see what you mean by the daily close now because of this bullish close there. It depends what type of move you're looking for, to be honest, because that is still meaningful support below us at 0.927. So I wouldn't really be looking to try and short into that. But if you're just trying to catch a reaction like for a day, I think that's not a bad trade still. It's held as resistance very well, once over there, twice, a third time, briefly a fourth time so far. So I think the shorts still do make sense actually. But I wouldn't be looking for more than a day. So, you know, if you can get a push back into this kind of territory, I'll be looking to lock in gains there. Really, because of how the market is moving, not really seeing much consistency. We're rejecting very kind of meaningful support on the higher time frames. I do think the bigger move is to the upside anyway. But yeah, the moving average is providing some nice resistance here. It was acting as support pretty well there too. So it's not a bad place for a short. And judging also yesterday, we did leave behind a bit of a wick there as well, which I do like. I know we did close bullish, but we did spike into the moving average and pull back. So resistance is still being obeyed there from a daily perspective. So I think for the day, you might see a push down. But as with that zone I marked, I wouldn't try and hold through that. I wouldn't try and hold past that. So a quick trade for the day, you might get away with it, but I wouldn't hold more than that. What's up, Rexis? Welcome to the stream. Yes, I've taken a look at gold, but I can go quickly through it again. Poppy, 100, 200, both at the top of the channel. Okay, let me take a look at the 200 as well. Add it to the chart. Okay, yeah, you got the 200 just above us there. Let me change the color of that. Got the 200 there as well. So yeah, I mean, they're both acting as resistance. So I think, again, it's not a bad place for a short, but I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm not seeing consistency in the market. Okay, fair enough. Big green candle puts you off. I mean, the judgment makes sense. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't mind a sell for a short period of time. I think that opportunity is still there. And drive back into this area. But again, in terms of risk to reward, how you're going to trade that, to enter there, stops there, might not even be looking at 1-to-1, so it might not even be worth the trade, to be honest. So yeah, personally, I think just conditions are very flat, so it's difficult to even look for a good trade. I'm not really a big fan of the Euro CHF at the moment either. I mean, I like the way we're rejecting support here, so I do think a big buy is coming pretty soon, but overall the market's still very flat, so not a fan favorite of Euro CHF at the moment. Good morning, Alex. Welcome to the stream. I'll go through gold for Rexus. And yes, we'll take a look at oil as well. Alex, no problemo. Dima, appreciate it. Thank you. Hopefully we'll catch you in the next one. Yeah, fair enough. Too many wicks, fair enough, Poppy. Yeah, Euro CHF is not the cleanest pair in the world. It does chop around quite a lot. You just have to look back at previous price action, and you can see that it does like to chop around a lot, and it does have some weird consolidation to it. It does have some nice moves from time to time, as you can see. So I do definitely keep tabs on the pair, but it's definitely not my most traded. We can call it as that. In terms of gold, so yeah, gold definitely a pair I'm keeping a very close eye on. I'm liking the buy opportunities. I do think gold is likely to drive back to 3,500 here. We have seen some nice bullish structure. We've got the high here, low, high, higher, low. Another new high created. I do think price is going to drive back to the highs hit 3,500. Yeah, I've got two areas which I'm interested in. This area being one. If we have a deeper pullback, kind of lining up with the trend line and lining up with this kind of area of demand. And the breaking retest being the other, which is my preferred area. But it does look like price is breaking through the end of that. So I'm kind of waiting for momentum to pick up and give me a strong close back above the level. It doesn't look like this hourly candle will do it. It's about to close in 7 minutes time. I doubt we push up and close strongly in 7 minutes. But it's a nice indication. We've got this bearish channel. It looks like we're starting to break to the upside. So perhaps the next candle could follow through. I think what would be nice, maybe a strong close in the 4-hour candle. The 4-hour candle's got about 2 hours and 7 minutes to close. It could gain some strength in the next 2 hours. But I would say just about price is still respecting this zone. So what I'm looking at right now is just a break and retest for us to continue higher. If it does fail and it drops lower, well, 33.40 is the next level I'll be focused at. Then yeah, expecting a swing back to the high and then eventually swing back to the all-time high. But for now, gold still pointing to the upside. And in terms of oil, so yeah, oil I'm pretty bullish on. I like the buying opportunities for this one. We've of course recovered that level at 66, which has made me very bullish for the pair. I'm almost kind of treating this as a big fake out. We've got massive support running through the market, and now price has recovered it. I do think if we were to retest it, it would be a very solid place for a buy and a place where we can take it back into resistance and back into the longer term swing idea, which is back to 80 up there. It's just the case whether we come back to retest 66 or not. We have respected this area kind of yesterday into today. I think if price was to come back and retest that, that's still a nice place for a buy. We might not come back and retest 66. So if we can see a test of this area, I think that would be the next best opportunity. If we do drive lower, well, keep an eye on 66. That would be a smart place for a swing trade. And yeah, naturally targets back into the high. I would try and leave some positions to run to 80 there. But as a whole, I would be bullish on oil. We've recovered that level very, very well. Yeah, that's made me very bullish on the pair now. So just looking for pullbacks, some more upside. And of course, fundamentally as well, we could see prices drive higher off the back of that too. So could have a nice big trade there for oil. Pavinator, what's up, my man? It has been a while. Hope you've been good. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I'll take a look at Aussie dollar for you. I do agree, it's got some bearish characteristics, but it's not going. I actually agree with that completely. I'm looking to set it at the moment. I do think we can have a bit of a drop for the pair, but it's been taking about 98,000 years to actually see some downside. So, bit of an annoying pair, I'm not going to lie. Very, very corrective, but I do think we can see a short. Waiting on 0.62 entry. Okay. I'll have a look at that. No problem, Rexus. Happy to help. Silver's taken off Poppy. Okay, let me go through Aussie dollar and we'll take a look at silver quickly. But yeah, Aussie dollar, same situation in terms of how corrective we have been. I mean, I still like the buys for Aussie dollar. So I remember maybe a month ago, Pavinator, we spoke about some buys. I said I'm kind of liking the 0.625, 62 area. I remember you mentioning kind of the same. Looking for basically a pullback of this bullish move here. Drive back into areas here for a buy. But we just haven't seen that move. It's just been correctively moving in that channel. So the plan is for myself to see if I can short it towards those areas. Not necessarily looking at banking the whole move. To be honest, I would be happy if I can short the high of the channel and just ride it back to the low end. That would be, that should be a decent trade within itself. I still think this is where the bigger buys can come from. So if we can get back to 0.62, that'd be fantastic. But you can see how tired we're looking, very, very corrective. Typically, when the market is moving like this, normally you do see a move back down pretty soon after, and a pretty aggressive one as well. A very, very, very common pattern in the market. So I do think we can bleed eventually with Aussie dollar. I think we're just waiting for USD to gain some strength. At the moment, DXY is still trending down, still looking bearish as a whole. So until we see the dollar make a move like this, I don't think we do see that move for Aussie dollar just yet. So waiting patiently, I think it's around the corner. But I'm definitely more interested with the sells for now, and then some buys around 0.62, 625 later on. In terms of silver, I'm very bullish on the pair. So if it is selling off, that is music to my ears. Oh, no, it's not selling off. It's flying. Oh no. I've been looking for a break and retest around 35. But to be honest, it's not the worst situation in the world, because I did say if we don't get the retest of, let me go back to the daily chart. If we don't get the retest of this level, then what I would wait for would be a consolidation, and then a break of that consolidation, then a pullback for a buy. So now it looks like we're committing to the upside here. Well, this is now going to be my retest opportunity. Of course, the breakout is still kind of young. We could still potentially pull back and leave a wick. So I wouldn't be looking for a retest yet. I still want to see a bit more conviction to the upside before I would look for a retest of this high, or even the range here as well, to be honest. That's where we kind of stalled and momentum came from. So even if we dip into the range there, that would be a nice confluence for the trade. But yeah, really nice shift in momentum. Looks like the excuse me, looks like the buyers are stepping in, which is interesting, because if silver's doing this, can gold follow that? Maybe. We're already looking a lot bullish now. This hourly candle's about to close. It would be nice if it was closing above the level. I think I probably would wait just for the 4-hour candle to close. It's closing in the next 2 hours, so it's not the longest. I don't have to wait too long. But yeah, since silver's doing that, I think gold can follow, to be honest. Gold's so close to the all-time highs, I think we just will go and take them out. So I think buyers in gold look good, actually. And looking at that momentum from silver, hopefully we can see something similar on gold. But yeah, very strong move. If we can see that kind of really follow through, pullbacks and retests look good. I still have targets around 40. So onwards and upwards for silver. No problem, Alex. Happy to help. Enjoy your day as well, my man. ready for buying dollar CAD. Not last time I checked. It looked pretty bearish still. Yeah, still looks pretty bearish to me. I wouldn't be looking to buy this just yet. Lower time frame, still very, very consistent with the lower highs. We are trading in a nice area where I do think we can turn around. So if I just map out that area again, you can see, excuse me, this is where we had a slight kind of pause. Big break to the upside, and now we're back at this area again. So naturally, I think this is an area where sellers not only exiting their positions, but buyers, bigger players in the market looking to position themselves long. So I do think we can catch a nice reaction to the upside for dollar CAD. Again, it's going to rely on what USD does. We've got the Fed interest rate later this week. I think we might not see anything meaningful until then, really, with the USD pairs. So I wouldn't want to get into a buy now, especially with how flat the market is looking. I think how corrective it's looking is a good sign. It shows that the sellers are running out of juice and perhaps a big buy is on the cards. So that's what I'm waiting for, but I need to see some double bottoms, some higher lows before I do get into a trade. So that's really what I'm waiting for from a structural point of view. I think that won't happen until after the Fed anyway, which is tomorrow evening. So I think regardless, I'll be waiting for the news to happen, and hopefully that will provide us some nice indications for some buying opportunities. But yeah, dollar CAD in a nice place for a buy, just keeping a close eye on it. No problem, DC. Happy to help. But yeah, guys, we have come up to the end of the stream. I hope you have all enjoyed it and found it useful. Let me actually drop the link to the Telegram, because I did mention yesterday we do have a project coming out very, very soon, working with AI tools, AI indicators, AI automated bots as well. So if you are interested in looking to see how you can use AI to improve your trading, keep a lookout for that. We do have a free Telegram at the moment, which does utilize AI technology to power trading signals for a range of different markets. So if you are interested, I'll drop the link in the Telegram. And again, you can play around with it, test different trading ideas. Of course, use your own initiative as well, but definitely something to take a look at. And if you are interested in the topic, definitely check it out. But the project will be coming out in a couple of weeks' time, and I'll be coming up with more information about it as well. So do stay tuned for that. But yeah, feel free to check out the Telegram link. But yeah, guys, I am going to be live again tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, as always, every weekday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you are free, make sure you do pop in, come say hi. Before you do leave the stream, guys, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. And of course, make sure you do take up the Discord for Elevating Traders, free community there. Check it out. You can chat with other traders, share ideas. I'm there as well. So if you want to ask any other questions, you can always drop it in the Discord there, and I'll be happy to answer. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day. Thanks for tagging along on the stream and chatting with myself. Like I said, we'll be live again tomorrow. So I do hope to see you guys there. But till then, have a good one, guys. We'll catch you all in the next stream.